Hey, everybody, it's Linda G and our favorite psychic, Sterling.
Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year to everybody, and Happy New Year, Linda.
Happy
It feels like I haven't seen you since last year.
Yeah. Yes, it's been a whole year since I've seen you.
Exactly.
So, okay, my friend, we have everybody's questions that your beautiful wife, Linda, and my cohort, Daniel, picked out, and we really appreciate you guys' hard work. They picked good questions too.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention also that they do their best not to repeat questions. So sometimes people feel like their questions I know aren't being answered. I know Linda and Daniel were mentioning that, but they really try to always go with new ones. So
there you go. You cover a lot.
We try. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Here we go. Okay. Does the Archbishop Desmond Tutu have a message for us?
He does. And I was talking with him yesterday. I've never talked with him until yesterday, and then also here this morning. But he wanted to get across a couple of important things to everybody. The one was that he felt like a lot of his life's work was just starting the journey for everybody. So the work he did around apartheid and bringing humankind together, humanity, he felt he was really just starting the whole process for humanity, even though many people felt he really did a great job. The other thing he was telling me was many times he wished he could have traded places with Nelson Mandela in prison. So he felt very, like a kindred spirit, that when Nelson Mandela was 27 years in prison, he felt like there were times he really wished he could have traded places. So that was something it was heartfelt, but he realized that they were combined and actually they had prior lives together, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. So anyway, wonderful guy, but he wanted to show everybody that his life's work was all about starting the journey towards equality worldwide.
Oh, yeah. He was a good person, too.
Yeah.
When I think of him, I always think of a smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
wonderful guy.
Go straight to the higher realm.
I absolutely. Many lifetimes. That's the definition of an old soul, being down here like 1,000 times. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Okay. Do you see consequences for the guy who said, "Let's go, Brandon," to President Biden at the public phone call? So ridiculous. So immature.
Yeah. Well, I don't see direct consequences, but I think that same individual is trying to run for a public office like in Oregon. So what I do see is that's what I'm being told. So he's still trying to run for a public office or something. So it looks like that's going to impede his progress towards any kind of a public office. So let's say no direct consequences like a fine or jail time, but it's going to kind of offset his ability to win. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I know he's getting a lot of hassle, which is, he shouldn't have said that. That wasn't very nice. President Biden and Putin will be having a phone call. Can you provide any insight regarding their conversation? And you know what? The true insight.
Yeah. And obviously that phone call already took place, right?
Yes.
That's my understanding. I think that phone call already took place. What I get on that is that each side kind of drew a line in the sand. So they said, just so you know, this is the line you better not cross. But both of them said it. So both of them kind of set up expectations for what the other party was willing and not willing to do. So it was a bit of a good level set, that phone call. It's kind of like, so I get it's a bit of a level set and each party drawing a line in the sand. Yeah.
But Putin asked for it. Was he trying to tell Putin off, or?
No, and I get.
Was he trying to tell Biden off? Sorry, Putin asked.
Yeah, no. What I get is that there are people around Putin that said, be very, very careful how you make movements in the region, like around the Ukraine, because you don't want to send the wrong messaging, because a lot of people on the Putin side, they don't want to see big conflict. Putin is acting like a bully, but the people that support him and the people, they don't want a huge conflict with the US. That's not going to help them. So
no. And it also involves other countries too.
Right.
Mess with the bull, you get the horns. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Mark Elias, the attorney who successfully won lawsuits against 45 and team, has disclosed that there's a law that prohibits anyone who was part of an act of sedition or aided anyone who commuted acts of sedition cannot serve as a member of Congress. Will this law be used to make those who were part of the 1-6 disqualified to run for the election in 2022? Is that in the Constitution or is that a separate? Because remember, a whole bunch of people got kicked out during Abraham Lincoln's time.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert on constitutional law, but I believe it is a law in the book somewhere. I'll just tell you that. But what I see is what they're telling me is that I don't see anybody being stopped from running. I think that was kind of the question. But what I do see is members of 45's cabinet and people around him. There are several members of Congress that will be tried for treason. So we're actually going to see that. But I think a little different than the question was being asking, like, will that law in the book stop them from running or something? And I don't see that, but I do see there's some litigation here involving treason for some people.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I'd like to know about Elizabeth Holmes. Her jury is out still, I think. Will she be convicted? If so, will the way startups handle investments and investors change because of Theranos?
Yeah, that interesting trial. And I think the jury reconvenes Monday of this coming week here. They reconvene deliberations. What I'm being told is that there won't be new laws necessarily. I think that was the question, because a lot of the investors in Theranos were a lot like institutional investors and what they call sophisticated investors, like above a certain net worth. So
they had the money to lose.
It's not going to create, there won't be a lot of pity, let's say, shown for them. So there won't be new laws, but I do see some convictions coming for her.
I do too. I've been feeling that. And just like with Ghislaine, I felt conviction. And people were saying, no, she'll get off. I said, no, I don't feel that. Okay. In the future, will all money become digital and there will be no more paper money?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
My son talks about that.
Yeah, but it's going to be, the transition, you're going to see a big transition, significant over the next 5 to 10 years. They're seeing transitions right now, but eventually money will be all digital and there'll be digital transactions and blockchain will be a big part of the technology. And yeah, there won't be a need for paper money, but it'll also curtail some of the illicit activity worldwide, because now you can track everything digitally. So,
I didn't think of that.
As opposed to wrapping up, millions of dollars and putting them in, a flower vase from China, so.
Can people be sure their money is safe? Can someone go in there and?
Well, that's what blockchain technology is all about. It's a ledger technology distributed among a lot of computers and networks and data centers. So yeah, the answer is the technology backbone will provide security.
So should I buy stock in blockchain?
We don't answer any investment questions on this show.
What can a person do if they are bored with their life path and they don't like it? How can a person change their life path so they can enjoy their life more? And it will include things and experiences that they actually enjoy and that are fun.
So you never really change your life path. And that's a side discussion. But what they're telling me to tell everybody is that a lot of times, if you're not aligned with your life path purpose, you'll feel bored. So life path purpose breaks down into 8 or 10 different types of components, like a teacher, a healer, a pathfinder, a creator, a leader, an innovator. So if you're not doing things that you came down here that don't resonate with your life path purpose, you will feel bored. As soon as you get back aligned with your life path purpose, you'll get that stimulus back again.
Okay.
So,
like this work we do, we feel that we feel good about it.
Exactly.
Does the etheric body hold past life traumas, and can they be removed by energy workers?
So the way I interpret that question is, was that about traumas, holding traumas?
Yes. Past life traumas.
Yeah. So, past life traumas are all about lessons. So you actually springboard forward as you learn the lesson. So I'm going to answer that question the way they're telling me to answer it is more about you acknowledge the lesson you're supposed to learn. So it's not about dragging the trauma forward. but you acknowledge it and then you leverage off of it. So I think the second part of that question was, can energy healers remove past life traumas or something? You don't really remove them. Energy work is helpful towards understanding what that trauma was about and what the lesson was about. But you
Right.
don't remove the trauma. That's a life lesson.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And I've even got hits where people all of a sudden at a certain age develop some sort of symptom or something happen. And I'll get hits from my guides that says that's a past life. It's like in their past life DNA. And it comes up again. And it could be something that really isn't terrible, but they're feeling a pain in a certain place or suddenly get phobic about a certain thing. That tends to be past life related.
Absolutely.
Will health insurance ever be separated from one's employment for everybody?
Like, yes, within 5 years. Yeah, there will be. So you have the option. It'll be an opt-in or opt-out sort of thing. So either take what the employer has or do your own in terms of universal health care, universal insurance. So there'll be a little bit of both. You'll be able to opt in or opt out.
Okay. What is Governor Desantis up to? He has been very quiet.
What I get very clearly, he's been told to stand back and stand down because there's some sort of a potential interference with the GOP party. So something that he's thinking about that they think is gonna cross paths with what 45 has got planned. So some sort of a conflict here, and I'm being told he was told to stand down or stand back, like lie low for the time being. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see universal health care coverage in this country? We just sort of asked, well, okay.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Yeah, within 5 years, it's going to be much more standardized. It will be. Yeah.
What things will we discover about the universe now that the James Webb telescope has launched? Now that the James Webb telescope has launched.
Well, we're gonna discover or validate other galaxies, other universes, other planets, and extraterrestrials. So you'll be able to get some good Polaroid snapshots of some extraterrestrials. Yeah.
That's what I was feeling just now when I said this out loud. I could see like a ship coming forward, checking out the telescope.
Right.
The Black trans community is one of the most marginalized in our country. Do you see a time in the future where their lives get better?
Interesting. The answer to this question almost dovetails a little bit with the prior question, which is interesting, because what I'm being told is that there's going to be a bit of an awakening of humanity. And a lot of it's going to be around when the extraterrestrials show themselves. A lot of races and ethnic minorities and people that feel undervalued in society, people come together with a better understanding of what the world's been about for millions of years.
Right.
So there's a bit of an understanding across humanity that we actually all are equal, which is interesting. So there are a lot of minorities that are marginalized, many, but I'm being told that the extraterrestrials will play a big role in people's understanding of how the world goes together. So more equality. Yeah.
That's great. Andrew Yang has started the Forward Party. Hold on. Two of his main proposals to save democracy are open primaries and ranked choice voting. Will they gain any traction? If so, when?
I see them starting to be used almost as we get up to the 2024 election. So it doesn't look like by the midterms, but looks like some of his thinking is going to get integrated just before the presidential election, 2024.
Wow. Okay. I've heard that.
By the way, real quick, I don't think it gets implemented 100%, but I think they extract some of the concepts and ideas. I feel like to make precincts work better. There's something here about, voting precincts. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea. I've heard the magnetic pole is moving. I would like to know what your guys say about that and what consequences could this bring to the planet?
Yeah, it's a natural part of the Earth's, evolution. The magnetic poles are shifting, not the geographical poles, just so everybody knows. And the fact the magnetic poles are moving, they do change. They have an influence on climate and weather and earthquakes. So yeah, they're moving. And I think it's moving by several feet a year, the magnetic poles, but it does affect climate and weather.
And it's shifted before. They have proof of how it shifted
Oh,
before.
so it's an ongoing process for the planet. Yeah.
Is it true that you have to keep reincarnating until you learn all your lessons? Only then you can stay in heaven.
I've heard that question a few times, but it's complete free will. So you absolutely have the ability to stay back in heaven, or you can come back and reincarnate. Very often what I find out when people, go back to the other side, there's some sort of a driving force where you do want to elevate an energetic level. You want better understanding.
Because actually it's free choice, right?
Absolutely. You can stay back and say, you know what? I'm good. I'm not going back anymore. It's your choice. Other people say, you know what? I just got a cold chill when I said that. But some people say, look, I want to keep going back because I want more lessons and get elevated energetically more towards the angelic realm. You don't become angels, but you tend to have a higher purpose and do more good in the universe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I've read many times that we have the choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Excuse me. It's weird because people who would think on Earth a certain way, when you're over there, it's a whole different ballpark. You're not connected to the earthly realm. You're looking more in the spiritual realm, and you'll do what you can do to spiritually gain traction.
Right. By the way, quick analogy. A lot of times my guides will show me an analogy. It's almost like when you're on Earth here, you're part of like a Broadway play. You're up on stage, you got all the costumes on. When the play's over, you take off your costume and you walk outside. Now you're in the middle of Manhattan or New York or Disneyland. So you remove yourself from the play and you go out back into what's reality, which is heaven. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I watch the network news, ABC, CBS, NBC, never Fox. But the bias against Biden and his agenda is so real, but subtle. If not for my husband, I would turn them off. Will their corporate influence be exposed?
Yes, but what's interesting, they're telling me there's a much larger ecosystem at work here. And so let me tell you what they're telling me to tell everybody. Very simply, the economic engine, the networks are influenced by the brands or the products that are being sold, the advertising dollars spent on these channels. So that's how it's influencing these networks. But it's everybody that votes with their dollar when they go to the supermarket or Costco that drives money into these brands. So what I'm being told here is that over like another 5-year period here, people will start to become more conscious of voting with their dollars. So if a certain brand is endorsing 45, they'll vote differently with their dollars. They won't buy that brand of bread. They'll buy the other brand of bread. So it's seriously what they're showing me is here. It's a whole ecosystem of economics that everybody contributes to, but they'll realize how they contribute to it.
Okay, makes sense. Will the Supreme Court block the committee's call for 45 January 6 White House records?
What I get, and I think that ruling is all about the Supreme Court, where executive privilege starts and ends. And I believe they're going to say it's with Biden. And I believe they're going to allow the documents to go forward. So they're not going to.
I feel the same thing. I don't see them stopping it. I'd love to. And I know they'll be in trouble if they stopped it.
Right.
But okay. I'd like to know if the aliens can reverse the damage, rising sea levels, extreme weather events, fires done by the Earth and all the many species.
They can, because as you control just the way the magnetic poles are shifting on the planet, the way that planets move around each other, that affects a lot of the magnetic characteristics. They can change climate. They're not doing a lot of that right now. They will stop major disasters, but over a period of decades, there'll be more integration of ETs helping, restore the planet and correct it. So.
Right. And the main thing, they just don't want us to blow up this planet, destroy it, and create a suction in the universe.
That's
right?
job number one for them. It is.
Yeah.
And by the way, they have a lot of, things going on Earth, their bases and their experiments and there's, so they don't want to lose all that. Earth is a very unique place in the entire universe.
Oh, wow.
So they're just unique things that happen here that don't happen everywhere else. So.
Okay, the former guy is supposed to hold a rally on January 15th in Arizona. Will it be peaceful?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some minor rioting. There always is, right? There's some scuffles, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a big storm of event. Interestingly enough, it looks like he's going to shoot himself in the foot during that event.
Okay.
So it's going to look like, well, he didn't get all the support he thought he would get, or I think that's
I'm
in
looking
Florence.
forward. Maybe not as many people show.
Yeah, or they cut it short, like it's supposed to be a 3-hour event, ends up being 45 minutes or something, but looks like he shoots himself in the foot.
Okay. Do you see anything coming up for next week?
I do. I see more very good high quality tests coming out regarding the vaccines and the way they're used on children. So good progress towards vaccines for very young children. I do see more mask mandates coming out across a lot of different businesses and society. And I see also some sort of a major press release or something going here regarding the availability of tests. So it's almost like they're able to unlock now another 200 million tests or 300 million tests. And they're going to try to use that to mitigate some of the problems they're having on Omicron. So like if you can test faster and it's better, then you know how to keep people away from society. So I see big testing going on. They're just reminding me here, I see something else regarding the airline industry, some other something new coming out here regarding the airline industry, because they're having real problems with all the shutdowns due to COVID, right? Loss of attendants and pilots. And so there's something coming out here next week where the airline industry, it's like they're going to scale back in a way so they can anticipate better. So instead of having like 2,000 canceled flights, here's now how we're going to do it. So it's easier to forecast.
But it's going to be hard to book an appointment, huh? Or book a flight.
Well, it's going to take more planning.
Yeah. Well, we already booked all our flights to Sedona in May, but I don't think it's going to be around. I saw Omicron going through like fire, like a wildfire, and then it just burns out.
Yeah, and it's still going to be around, but it'll be under control. So it's just better. Yeah.
Do you have anything your guides want to share?
They do. For this week, the message is trust the messages you get from your guides and angels, and don't keep second guessing them. So I see a lot of people, they're telling me, well, waste time. I get a message, I need to do X, Y, Z. I say, well, maybe not. That's not a good idea. And then you find out, let's say that person would have really appreciated a phone call from you because they're going through a difficult time. So acknowledge the messages you get from your guides and angels and really move forward with some confidence. Learn to trust it. So,
okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for all the questions, my friend.
And just a quick reminder, because I always get asked, anybody that wants to reach me, it's at sterlingpsychicmedium.com and look for the book a session tab. So it's very easy. So.
Yeah, that's great. Boy, I had trouble figuring out that Wix because I went back to Wix, just for this last year. Oh my God, that was a pain.
Call me. I'd be happy to help.
Oh, thank you. I sure could have used it. I finally figured it out, but
good. Well, there's a lot of tips and tricks, and they keep changing some of the features. So, give me a ring.
Okay. Well, you're fantastic. Your whole thing, the imagery, and I'm just like, hi, I'm here. You just see this big ass head, and all of a sudden I'm there.
But everybody loves it. Everybody loves it.
Thank you. All right, you guys, it was good seeing you. We'll be back with Sterling in 2 weeks. And I wanted to go over some of the big things that he predicted last year. He has so many. If you look at his page, you'll see hot off the press and the community page. And I just wanted to remind folks of certain ones he did. So, but that's on me. He didn't ask me to do that. I'm just like, I want to do that. But if we kind of ended up this kind of last minute thing because I was so busy, I'll do it in 2 weeks.
And
Okay, you guys.
I just want to remind everybody that I really try to be a good steward and a good telephone. So it's my guides and angels that provide the information.
That's
I
true.
really try to move myself out of the equation. So
They are so cool. In fact, when I did the 2022, I said a big name in the NFL is going to pass.
Mhm.
And I said some government people, big names, are going to die. One has just happened, Harry Reid, John Madden, the NFL. And I don't know why I always see death, but I definitely see a couple of surprises coming up with a couple of people passing in 2022 within the government realm. So, all right, my friend.
All right. Do it again. Thanks.
Take
Take care.
Cheers.